Look back with me, please, to the first Easter morning. I awake early. Why do I feel so dreadful? Then I remember. I fell asleep, sobbing. Jesus, our beloved teacher, is dead. Not just dead, a horrible death. Executed slowly, in agony, his body ripped and bleeding on a rough wooden cross, like a criminal, with other criminals, our master. Oh, I heard him call out. Oh, how we longed to go to him, to help him, to ease his pain. But all we could do was to sit and weep at his feet. Those feet that I once anointed and washed. Jesus praised me then for caring more about him than material things, for not waiting till his death to show my love. I'm so glad I did that. But at that terrible, tearing cross, we women could offer no comfort. Just our distant presence. We couldn't even reach him to wipe away the blood or the spittle or give him a drink. Now, he's dead. Buried. Not even in his own tomb. A borrowed one. Oh, it's a rock, it's solid. It's never been used before. But it was just a last-minute thing given by a nobleman who secretly loved Jesus too. Well, there were some, grave clothes, some wrappings, a few spices, but not the usual careful preparations. You see, the Sabbath was coming. Everything had to be done quickly. We couldn't do for our beloved Jesus what we would do for any of God's chosen people. Jesus, Son of God, ridiculed, killed like a criminal, and not even a proper burial. Well, usually the Sabbath is one of my favorite days. But this time, it was so hard to wait through that whole long Sabbath. We women, we yearn to go to the tomb, to weep for Jesus. Remember how we wept for Lazarus? Oh, and then Jesus came, and he shouted out in a loud voice, loud enough to wake the dead, "Lazarus, come out!" And he did, stumbling and still wrapped in some of his cloths, after he was dead 4 days. Jesus freed him to continue his earthly life. But who can save Jesus to life? It's so hopeless. All our exciting dreams, they're dead in a cold grave with Jesus. It's just too much. Now, it's the first day of the week. Almost. It's dark. It's light enough. I can see. I'm going to go to the tomb. I will feel nearer to Jesus if I can sit by his grave. So I go to the tomb. And the rock is rolled away. Will it never end? Do they need to steal Jesus' body too? Oh, I run to the disciples and I say, they've taken our Lord's body out of the grave and I don't know where they've taken him. Well, you know Peter, he's always quick to react. He's up, he's running, and John, gentle John, he's with him. He's gaining, and well, I'm a little slower. I've already run, I'm winded, and I'm afraid of what I might see. John peers into the tomb. He sees the grave linens laying there. And Peter, he crouches right down, he goes right in. The linens are lying there. And the headcloth, it's rolled and neatly set aside. Would grave robbers set things neatly? Well, now they believe me. Jesus' body is gone. I stand back, just watching. Surely, somehow, someone will help me to understand what is happening here. The men are puzzled. They leave to go home. I stay. I weep. I weep. What else can I do? I can't tend to a body that's not there. And as I look through my tears towards the tomb, I see two figures, all in white, sitting on the ledge where Jesus' body had lain. And they call out to me from the grave, "Woman, why are you weeping?" Wow. I answer with anguish in my heart. They've taken my Lord and I don't know where they've laid him. I turn away and as I do, I see someone. And he's saying to me what the other figures, the angels, or maybe it was him all along, and he said, "Woman, why are you weeping? For whom are you looking?" Well, the tomb is in a garden. It's early in the day. Perhaps, I think, this is the gardener. And I say, "Sir, if you've taken his body, if you've laid him somewhere else, please show me so I can remove him." Oh, how I long to help place Jesus' body where it would be safe from grave robbers. And then Jesus says to me, yes, Jesus, he says to me, he says, "Mary, my name." Oh, and when he says my name, I know him. Wonder of wonders. I say, "Teacher." I want to hold on to him and wipe his feet and kiss his hands. But Jesus cautions me. He says, "Mary, don't be afraid. Don't cling to me. I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go to my brothers. Tell them I will ascend to the Father, to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Well, Jesus says go and tell, so I go. Now, I have good news to share, good news to shout. I have seen my Lord. Jesus lives in a new way.
We're here now, 2017. What is the thing that people fear the most? Some will say it's public speaking. But I think all of us know the thing we fear the most is death. The concept of dying and then ceasing to exist is the thing that grips our hearts most deeply. And so we do our best to avoid it. The medical system can keep someone alive for a long time. We overindulge in all sorts of things, from food to exercise to our jobs, because the company can't survive without us, right? We lie about our age or hesitate to tell someone how old we are. And we stay so busy that we don't even have to think about the idea of getting older or someday dying. And so we are busy in all kinds of things, whether it's school or even church. This terror, this fear of death has existed for all time, ever since the fall of our first parents in the Garden of Eden. People of God, if we're governed by the fear of death, then we're not truly alive, even though we are living. Lazarus. When Lazarus was raised from the dead, that was a clear demonstration of Jesus' power. And people were reacting in all sorts of different ways at that time. Mary and her sister Martha, of course, were thrilled that their brother was brought back to life. And so they were hopeful, but others were fearful. In John's Gospel, we read that story about Lazarus coming back to life. And Lazarus was dead. He was dead. He had been in the tomb for a number of days already. And what did they say when Jesus asked to see the body? Oh no, you don't want to see his body. Because by then, his body would have been decomposing. You would have smelled that sweet, sickly smell of a decaying body. You don't want to see that. And yet death's reality must be grasped if we are to appreciate that Jesus brings life. So we can trust in Jesus. We can trust in God's power and his love to help us face that most desperate and troubling of all fears, death. And we learn two truths this morning. The first comes to us from the Gospel of John and the story of Lazarus being brought back to life. It's a turning point, really, in the Gospel of John. Jesus has done some amazing things up until this point, but here he brings someone back to life. And so knowing Jesus restores life, resuscitates us, gives us hope for the future. Lazarus heard Jesus call, and he came out of the grave. But not only does knowing Jesus give us back life, does something else as well for us. It gives us new life. Not just renewed life, but new life. We see the same Jesus after he has been risen from the dead, and yet he's different. Darkened by fear and despair, Mary doesn't recognize him immediately. It's only when she calls out of her darkness, it's then that she recognizes Jesus. New life. Brand new life. Death and sin are gone. They've been defeated. Do you fear death? Here's the good news. A light has dawned. On Easter morning, a light has dawned, and we gain comfort and we gain strength, not just from Mary's experiences, though we see what she went through and we know that life has changed, but because of what Jesus has done. And so we are made new again. God has that kind of power to create and then to recreate. He is both creator and recreator. The death-conquering, life-giving good news of Easter is Jesus Christ. He is risen. He is risen. He is risen indeed. To him be all glory, power forevermore. Amen. Please rise for the song. Crown him with many crowns, for he is